He was supposed to be the next great big man, the safest pick in the draft, a once-in-a-generation talent, a 7-footer with a dominant post game, elite shot blocking, and the charisma to lead a franchise. At just 19, they called him the future of the NBA. But in just a few short years, he became a footnote, a cautionary tale, a name whispered in conversations about what could have been. This is the heartbreaking story of Greg Oden, not just a bust, not just an injury report, but a human being who carried the weight of a franchise, a fan base, and his own shattered dreams. This isn't just about basketball. This is about potential, and purpose. It's 2007. The NBA draft is approaching, and two names dominate the conversation: Greg Oden and Kevin Durant. Oden is the consensus #1 pick, a physical monster at Ohio State. 7 feet tall, 250 pounds of raw power, a man among boys. Even in college, he played with a cast on his shooting hand, and still dominated. Analysts compare him to David Robinson, to Patrick Ewing, to Bill Russell. They say he's the most NBA-ready center since Shaquille O'Neal. Meanwhile, Durant is electric, sure, but skinny, slight, and the old-school NBA still believes you build around size. So, the Portland Trail Blazers, holding the #1 overall pick, make the call. With the first pick in the 2007 NBA draft, the Portland Trail Blazers select Greg Oden. The crowd roars. Portland celebrates. They've got their guy. But beneath the surface, something is already wrong. Greg Oden never plays a game in his rookie season. Just months after being drafted, he undergoes microfracture surgery on his right knee. It's serious, the kind of surgery that derails careers. But Oden is young, resilient, optimistic. He rehabs, works, prepares, and in the 2008 to 2009 season, he finally makes his debut. The flashes are there: 11 points, 8 rebounds, nearly 2 blocks per game, dominant stretches, highlight plays. Portland believes, but the injuries keep coming. First the foot, then the knee, again, a second microfracture surgery, then another. He plays just 82 total games in his first 5 seasons. Less than a full season, spread over half a decade, and every time he starts to show his potential, it vanishes, stolen by something he can't control. While Greg Oden fights to stay on the court, the league keeps spinning. Kevin Durant, the player Portland passed on, becomes a superstar. He wins Rookie of the Year, then scoring titles, then MVPs. He's the future, while Oden fades into the background. The Trail Blazers, cursed with injuries to both Oden and Brandon Roy, fall apart. They waive Greg in 2012. The experiment is over. At just 24 years old, he's out of the NBA. But there's one more shot. The Miami Heat, in the middle of the Big Three era, offer him a chance. He joins LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh in 2013. It's the comeback story everyone wants, but Oden can barely move. He plays 23 games, limited minutes, and in the playoffs, he's benched entirely. The Heat lose in 5 games. Greg Oden walks off the floor. For the last time, Greg Oden officially retires in 2016. Not because he wants to, but because his body gives up. He's just 26 years old. A basketball career, over before it ever truly began. Most would disappear, hide from the spotlight, collapse under the weight of what was lost. But Oden, he owns it. He returns to Ohio State, gets his degree, starts mentoring young players, shares his story, openly, honestly. In interviews, he calls himself the biggest bust in NBA history. Not out of bitterness, but out of self-awareness. He knows what people say. He's heard the jokes, the comparisons, but instead of anger, he chooses peace. He joins the Portland Trail Blazers in a developmental role, starts a family, finds purpose beyond the hardwood. And while the world sees what was lost, Greg Oden starts focusing on what remains. Greg Oden's story isn't just about injuries, or missed games, or broken knees. It's about expectation. It's about pain. It's about a man who carried more pressure than most of us could imagine, and still stood tall when everything crumbled. He could have quit. He could have turned bitter, but instead, he turned humble. To call him a bust is to miss the point. He was a young man with the weight of a city on his shoulders, and knees that betrayed him before he had a chance. He didn't fail. His body did. But Greg Oden is not a failure. He's a reminder that greatness isn't always measured in rings, or stats, or minutes played. Sometimes, greatness is how you carry yourself when the game stops. What if doesn't define Greg Oden? What he's done after the NBA does. If you believe in second chances, if you believe in the human side of sports, subscribe to Underdog Hoops, because these are the stories that matter most.